What you got going on there? Well, you gonna try to dig a hole for Garuda or something there, buddy? Alright, thank you, Chief. Oh, we made it down into this sweet little space down here today. Yeah. Oh, my body and chest feels so much better. Washini, full speed ahead. Almost the whole way. Ooh, doing. He's almost feeling like full speed ahead right here. There's another dog down here having fun. So he's just finishing the job. Or continuing the job. It's a nice little spot here in the eastern wetlands. Kind of like a private little beach right here almost, except, you know, you got traffic going over top of, yes? But that's the bridge between California and Arizona here, so. And nice little spot here with the palm trees and all the sun coming through there. I'll bet this is nice during the super full moon, but I'm sure that they do their best to move folks out of the park here. You've got the Hilton. Zoom in. You got the Hilton overlooking right there. Somebody left their hat. I know the feeling. Don't need one. I have tried so many different hats. You're lucky you can keep a helmet on my head. And the only reason I really, really enjoyed the helmet that I had and was wearing it all the time was, one, because that is part of our code, part of our bylaws in the Red Spirit Red Rum. It was enacted after losing several brothers and I think a sister. No, I don't think so. It was definitely a couple of brothers. And oh, a rose. That's a nice little chunk of glass right there. Pink, golden rose. How sweet. Anyway, and so that was enacted in our bylaws. And of course, riding with, I only wore a helmet when I absolutely had to in states where it was the law. And, well, Gautam and I, we made the pact between the two of us that we would, whoever was driving wore the helmet. Or was it whoever was the passenger was the helmet? I think we changed it partway through our adventure there through India, from the Nepal border all the way to the south tip and then back up to, oh gosh, it's right there by the south tip. And that's when I crossed over to Sri Lanka and he took over the motorcycle and the helmet. Or no, he had me take my helmet. That's correct. Anyway, and I had that helmet that was custom made, that was custom painted, and I have since given her to the thrift store, to the Humane Society to sell and so forth. It's all new gear, everything is fresh, everything is, it still boggles me. The only main pieces are the pipe bundle, the grandmother drum, my drum, the White Crow fan that was given to me by an elder, and of course it belongs to the pipe bundle. And my staff. And even all the medicine pieces in this last Reiki session, it was cleansing of the hair, the DNA of the hair, because the hair remembers. And that's why they grow their hair. And the only time the hair is cut, and in India it's shaved, is when someone transition, or if they're what they call a holy person at a temple. So, and it's something that many of your Buddhists and monks do continuously. So I honor both sides of myself there. The native growing the hair and then the shaving of the head. And so even all of the medicine pieces and hair strands on my staff from the 2 times I've cut my tail have been cleansed, and all of that. Everything just feels really spot on. New baggage, new vehicles, new everything. It's amazing. And so all the other pieces, I finished sending off the gifts and medicine pieces and birthday cards yesterday. Thank you, Spirit. Many of them went into the Colorado River here with that intention that they would demonstrate. And it was a lot of Shavasana yesterday. Definite Shavasana. So I'm noticing that I'm sleeping a good 4 to 5 hours in the evening. And then I'm up for a period of time, and then I lay in Shavasana again for a little while after my, that, they call that the Buddha hour, or the really quiet hour, when the bear is super, super thin during those hours, doing some different things during that period of time. And then I lay in Shavasana into kind of a lucid dreaming state, and me and a sister have a pact to message around a certain time so that we begin moving into the fire ceremony. And then yesterday, Rashini chose Hoopsie. And so we walked our several miles. And today, Rashini chose Garuda. And so it was bicycling those miles down here. And then we get to coast and cruise like we're on a very, our e-bike, get the wind therapy on the way back. And I have my suit on. I am loving it. It feels really, really good. And when we get down over into the other space, I may climb into the river before we begin our going back. But got the suit on, so I definitely want to go cruising through the west wetlands. The east wetlands, they still have that path closed, so we're not going to go that direction. But wow, what a beautiful little find. Gorgeous little find. So sweet. Take the cork off the heart. Take the cork out. Take the cork out. Off that chakra. Yeah, that's what it feels like. That's definitely what it feels like. It's gonna go into my little prayer pouch here. So, yeah. Gandhi gave his life to the cause, even if it meant breaking unjust laws. I love this song. Be the change that you want to see in the world, just like Gandhi. So we saw another monarch butterfly. Rashini tried to chase it on the bike path. We had a beautiful, let's see, what's today? Tuesday. No, today is Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Oh, there was no food bank today. I wonder when they're going to do the food bank. This is the beginning of the month, so they usually donate most of the food to the food bank for those that are on SNAP benefits. Yeah, I listened to a little bit of that yesterday. It was the first thing that came up on my newsfeed, Spirit, and I know we have the pact. I tried to scroll by it, but I did. I listened to it. It was a Democracy Now! How that would show up on my newsfeed, because I haven't watched the news and I don't know how long, but it did. And I listened to it and I heard it. Or was it Bernie Sanders? Anyway, I think she showed a clip with Bernie Sanders and discussing the number one, the health care, and number two, the SNAP benefits. And you have SNAP benefits, they're there for that going back and forth, and that, wow. So yes, there's we need to unite and become more of a community, and feeding and supporting and taking care of each other, and not be so dependent on the system, because we are the system. And so we need to just say, you know what, fuck the system, let's pull together and let's feed each other, let's help each other in this medical stuff, and we start eating and getting off of the food systems that are making us sick. We will not need as much of the health care, and we can take care of each other. And the natives all around this blessed world knew the medicines, the plants, the ways to heal. Maybe not necessarily cure, but many times cure a lot of these illnesses. And so we can do that again. And even more so, we have, where you at? Okay, I didn't see you, baby, with your head down in the tall grass. I can't find you. I just wanted to know where you were at. Thank you. And so, but there's that. There is definitely that. We need to pull ourselves together and unite as nations and tribes and communities and cities, and that's beginning to happen. And maybe that is the golden nugget out of all of this shit that we are putting ourselves through. And not be so dependent on these so-called governments and systems and so forth, but pull our interconnectedness and our unity back together as a people. And yeah, and so, I love the ceremonies, I love the prayers and all that, and we have been in that time, and now it's turning these prayers into action, and we have been hearing that. It's time for action. Continue the prayers. Oh, blessed be. But many of those effective ones, really super effective, were doing the work at the same time. They were in there fishing, they were in there gardening, they were in there creating the medicines, they were in there gardening, they were in there feeding the people. And then you have your prayer time, and you have, but it's more on the ground type action is what is definitely being called for. And I've even considered donating the grandmother dome, donating the offering or burying, releasing, so to speak, back to the spirit, the community pipe, and different pieces like that. However, spirit keeps stopping me, saying, no, that is going to also be necessary. I remember bringing that together at the Life ashram and at both of the ashrams and even the children's school. There was the prayer time, there was the meditation time, there was the the yoga time, and then there was the hands on the ground time, feeding, cleaning, all of those kinds of things. But when we each do our pieces, that really call our heart. There's people who, their thing is gardening. There's those people, their thing is cooking. Their thing is going out hunting. There's those that, they sit and meditate, and they're the philosophers, or concocting medicines, or hunting herbs, or different things like that, or working with the water. We all have our thing. We all have our thing. And it's time we pull those pieces out and encourage the children to find their, when I believe when we were born, we do know, and it's taught, shamed, and beaten, and schooled out of us. And then we always come back to that space of remembering. And maybe that's what the big whole journey of all of this all together. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't pretend to have the answers. I do know that there's the laws, like the laws of gravity, but there are exceptions to that. There's grace, it's called helium. The one thing that goes up instead of down when you release it is a balloon filled with helium. Anyway, thank you, Spirit. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Thank you. I definitely feel that this whole feeling inside of me, it's been growing since that one day when I had that wild sensation picking up those couple of stones, and I forget exactly which transit that was in the planets, but we've had our supermoon, and the supermoon was last night. Oh my gosh, she was just so gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And then this morning, waking up and going, yes, and beautiful ceremony this morning. The ones and zeros were not panning out for me. I ended up on I was there. I showed up via phone call line, was able to get in. It had me going deeper into that space of listening and feeling the energies, but they were really kind of neutral this morning. It's a beautiful feeling. Wasn't like all super excited, and it wasn't all hoom doom drum. It was just like this river. You got a little bit of a weeble wobble and some ripples, and you've got that smooth coasting calm, and very peaceful. Very peaceful. Once we settled in, there was a little bit of back and forth, as we were getting ready to move into the space, but then it just and then it came to this beautiful natural coasting, and then Rashini was like, yeah, we're taking Garuda. So okay, I'm complete. I really am just kind of in a ramble right now. The energies just feel so, yeah. I know there's been some, the earthquake action has been kicking up. Campy Flagree, they're actually talking about doing a practice emergency departure This ought to be interesting. And the tremors and so forth are still happening along the Cascadia and San Andreas Fault. And I'm looking forward to my delivery today. And looking forward to seeing the cardiologist tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to finding out where in the brush my little Rashini is. Ding, 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 ding. There he is. What a good chief. Hey, hey. Blessed be. Listen to your hearts. Listen to our heart. Let the heart tell the mind what to think about instead of vice versa. I'm not going down that one yet. No. That was just an afterthought, Rasheen. Thank you.